it's a huge injustice that one portion of the population has the potential to always fight wars on behalf of the other. The other doesn't have to fight it, gets all the benefits of them doing it, right? And we're supposed to just be like, well, okay then.
The benefits,
it's like, yeah, that. No, that's not okay then.
The benefits like having your male family members die, potential wartime if your country is
the benefits of you not being occupied and being able to get all your resources. Those are way bigger benefits.
Going to war doesn't ensure that you'll never not be occupied. Again, what that means is that a good chunk of the money that we make will be going to war.
I assure you, you're wrong.
Our country will get poorer,
assure you that if you refuse to go to war, you will be occupied.
Let her finish. Go ahead.
We will also be, again, if our country goes to war, any country that votes to go to war, there's a chance that they could be invaded and their women could be subjected to wartime essay. Again, also, in times of war, things are tough. Your resources are not there. People starve during wartime. There is very few people who actively benefit from war, except for the ultra wealthy.
Yeah, but do you understand that the case in point is that it's going to be men who are going to do this? And when you say things that are they just sound absurd to me, like. There's no guarantee that you still won't be occupied even if you send the men off to war. It's like, so what? You're still sending the men off to war. And you just don't ever have that potential. Like, that's nothing you ever have to worry about. When you go down and you sign up to vote, you don't have to sign a draft card. Like, you don't get put in a draft system. Your number's never going to get called. That's nothing you ever need to worry about, ever. And that is a potential that all men need to worry about. And by the way, even the ones...
Not really. We haven't had a draft since Vietnam.
So what?
Again, because
the
way that warfare works has changed. We have an insanely bloated military. The chances of either of you being called in a draft to go to the front lines to fight, slim to none. However, I am against the draft, and I would support any legal motion to remove the draft. I would vote for that.
Yeah,
I would use my power as a woman.
Yeah, that's great, but it's not even
contending
with what I'm saying. That's like not even contending with what I'm saying. Even if that's the case, that's nice that you say that, right? But our global leaders are never going to get rid of the draft because their military advisors tell them not to, because it's a huge weapon for mobilization of military force if you need it. So we're never going to get rid of it. That's just a pipe dream. It's never going to happen, ever.
So remove women's ability to vote, and then we'll never go to war. Is that your thinking?
No, I'm saying that this injustice and unfairness. And by the way, like when you bring up, you say, well, what about 60-year-olds? They can't be drafted. Okay, but they could have been when they were in their 20s and signed up for the draft, which you didn't have to. So their potential was already there and exhausted. They already had to go through that stage of life where their number could be called and yours couldn't. So yeah, they still get the benefit. They still did the thing that you guys will never do. They still did it. So the thing is like it just stands like this to reason, right? It doesn't matter if the 18-year-old never gets called to a draft. The potential is only there that he will. And you can't get mad at him later because he still maintains voting rights or certain rights that you don't get because he still went through the process of signing up for the draft and had the potential to be called, and you never did. So it's like, why do you get anything extra? Why is it that they don't get extra, in fact? Why do you get anything on par with that when the social status is such that men can be called to defend you and die, and that's never a service you have to render on their behalf?
You know, I have multiple male family members who went to war. My grandfather, who was drafted, and I have never had them express to me, it makes me so mad that you as a woman get to vote because I was drafted and went to war. I've never encountered this attitude from anyone that went to combat.
Yeah, but
like that was deployed. Like I have until this I had never heard that before.
Yeah, but do you understand that maybe?
And the rage
I think you do
is against the politicians.
Well, I think you do understand, though, that that many times injustices are perpetuated on people, and they don't even know that they're being perpetuated on them. Perhaps most injustice is that way.
But
so just because a person tells you or has never told you that they felt that there was a weight of injustice in a thing which was happening, may never have been explained to them, or they may never have even thought about it before, like most people don't think about the weight of injustice.
But women aren't responsible for this injustice. It is the lawmakers and politicians that put the draft in place.
Well, but my opinion on this is that it doesn't really matter. What matters is that this injustice is happening now, and it's going to continue to happen for the rest of our lives, and you're never going to get rid of it ever. And even if it were the case that women could be drafted, it wouldn't matter because they would never be able to serve in the same capacity as men. And since the draft is never going to go away ever, and it's not ever going to go away, you're not going to be able to vote it away. There will always be some capacity for it because it's just too useful of a mechanism. If you ever have to go to war, your generals will never allow it.
Okay, then,
So hang on, let me finish the point though. If that's the case, then it's a fundamentally unfair proposition that women can vote in politicians against the will of men, and they do all the time because they're mostly left-wingers, who could then vote to send them to war. Like that's completely unjust in every capacity I can think of. That's totally unjust.
It's my understanding that political divides are a lot more stark when it comes to ethnicity and education versus gender. Like there is a divide, but if we're talking about populations sending people to war, like most white female voters voted for Trump. I think in 2024 and 2016, they were voting with men.
Yeah.
Correct?
I've heard this
with white men.
Yeah, I've heard this argument, and so the argument is that it's actually more stark along racial, ethnic, and social lines than it is along gender lines because races tend to vote together.
Yes.
You have a problem with that though, which is that you saw that the Hispanic men really did start voting differently than Hispanic women.
Which is
and
uncommon,
the
yes.
reason that you saw so many of the white women voting with white men is because they were married to them, and that's
Yes.
still a demographic with a high marriage rate. But as the marriage rate decreases, whites don't vote together, and races don't vote together. Women will vote how their husbands are, and as long as the marriage rates are still higher for whites than they are other demographic groups besides Asians, as soon as those marriage rates continue to plummet, no, in fact, women do vote against men's interests, for sure.
I would say, I believe in Black American populations, the marriage rate is fairly low.
Extremely
Yes.
low.
But regardless, Black women and Black men tend to vote the same.
Except this last election.
Really?
Yeah. When you look at the black female vote versus the black male vote. But yeah, like I agree under Obama, right? 90%. But black people have voted as a monolith for a long time.
Yeah.
That's not the case with other races. And we can look down ethnic lines and we can see that, yes, it's true that white women tend to vote the way their husbands do, but when they're not married, they tend to vote left.
Well,
And
let's
that's that.
think about women who are more likely to be unmarried and of age to vote. You're looking at a lot of the time college students, women, educated women. So again, I think that education plays a huge role in how someone votes. I believe that most white people, male and female, educated, tend to vote left, whereas uneducated tend to vote right. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, when you say uneducated, you just mean not college degree.
Yeah, sorry, high school diploma or equivalent.
I do believe that it is the case, yes, that when it comes to the voting record of people with college degrees, they tend to move more progressive, yes. That's the case.
Yeah. So my point is, again, that educated people almost like 99% of the time end up marrying other educated people. People tend to marry people of the same social status.
Yep.
Or
higher.
Or higher, yeah. So then would they not just be voting the same as their husbands in that case as well?
Yeah, they are. So yeah, the white women are voting the same way as their husbands are.
Yeah.
But the
And
case
unmarried white
is
women
that
are voting the
most
same
white
way
men,
as
most
educated white women.
most white men are not college educated, don't have college degrees. They have trade degrees. Most of them are smarter than the educated, and they vote right, and their wives vote right along with them. But when they're not married, they tend not to. They tend not to vote. They vote left, very much left. And I can so we should have the social expectation that as marriage rates decrease for whites, and they are decreasing rapidly, that women will continue to vote left and men will continue to vote right. So it is a massive gender divide. It's a big problem, or sex divide, right? I mean, it just is objectively.
Right. I mean, sure. I forgot why.
So
we
if that's the
started this
case,
conversation.
then women can, well, the point is that women can vote against the interests of men. Now, maybe you could say that that's okay when it comes to democracy, but it's really not okay when it comes to things like warfare, when they can vote to send men off to war. Like, that's just like criminally unjust from my view. It's so unjust.